host John Phillips and liberal talk show host Ethan Berman. Welcome to both of you. So let's start with Michael Cohen, shall we? So Michael Cohen hasn't even been charged with anything, but the president brought up this idea, maybe a pardon. And interestingly enough, a president can actually pardon someone before charges are filed.
And they can pardon someone who's dead, too, which we learned over the weekend. Yeah. Over the weekend, the rumor was that Cohen was going to flip, just like the rumor at various points in the past was that Flynn was going to flip, or Manafort was going to flip, or Papadopoulos was going to flip. If half of these people flipped, who the media said were going to flip, President Trump would be operating a cirque show on the lawn of the White House. So I don't expect that to happen anytime soon. But if you look at where this investigation is going, it is veered so far away from alleged Russian collusion. And now it's just the porn star du jour. If this is where they're going to go and this is what they're going to focus on, and they're going to go through his private correspondence with the president, his attorney-client privilege, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see a pardon, even if he's not even charged with a crime.
Interesting, Ethan.
Well, this is the Southern District investigating Michael Cohen, though, not Bob Mueller. So if he participated in a crime, this is the exception, one of the key exceptions to the attorney-client privilege. Therefore, we want people to be charged if they're violating the law and they're furthering the commission of a crime, particularly fraud. Michael Cohen should be brought to justice. And if during that process he's able to find a place to flip and get himself out of some trouble and spill the beans to Robert Mueller, I think that's a great thing for America, so we can get to the bottom of what's going on.
And by the way, the New York Attorney General is now working on a law that would prevent, state charges would still be in place and overriding the federal pardon. So that's all going on, too. I want to talk about Mike Pompeo because I think that Manchin from West Virginia has said, oh, I'll vote to confirm Mike Pompeo as Secretary of State. But there's still that possibility hanging out there that the Senate Foreign Relations Committee could vote him down, and that would be an historic snub. I don't think that's happened for, I don't know, has it ever happened? At least for quite some time, right?
Well,
I'm
the
checking my
Senate
notes.
Should move on this, just the same way the Senate should move on Rick Grinnell, who's the ambassador, the nominated ambassador to Germany. He passed through the committee, and the Senate has not given him a full vote yet. We have this huge power vacuum right now in the world of foreign policy when you have all kinds of important things happening over the globe. You've got a situation in North Korea that's developing.
Syria.
You've got an election in Germany that just happened.
Well, you got Syria, you got Afghanistan,
Syria,
you have Iraq, you have Iran.
You name it. And we don't have a Secretary of State. We don't have ambassadors to very important countries.
That's because President Trump fired him.
Well, I mean, we got a new one that's been nominated, but the Senate has to move on it. They can't drag their feet. We can't have a power vacuum in the world of
the Senate
diplomacy.
can't drag their feet? What about, what? Merrick Garland. What happened there? Did the Senate drag their feet? Did they filibuster that whole process, hold it out for 9 months and say you can't have the Supreme Court nominee because by golly, we've got to have Justice Gorsuch, who just successfully actually ticked off many Republicans with his vote in voting for the rule of law and not having criminal laws that are too broad.
Do you think we're better off, though, without a Secretary of State, an ambassador to Germany?
Absolutely not. And I think the Republicans were wrong. I also think that the Democrats are wrong to hold up a president's nominee. I think it's very important that the president gets the cabinet that he needs as long as they're not felons or something else really dirty going on there. Like Scott Pruitt has some pretty dirty things.
That's kind of a low bar. As long as they're not felons, we're in. I was going to talk about Macron because he's coming here for the big state visit, but I'd like to talk about Ivana Trump because she gave an interview to the New York Post. I just read it in the break, and she claims that Donald Trump will not run for president in 2020, and she keeps in touch with him, Ivana, even though they're divorced.
I guess you couldn't call this pillow talk. Maybe it's texting talk now that they're divorced. But I wouldn't be surprised if he decided not to run for re-election. He's a guy whose entire brand is based on winning. He won the primary when everyone said he had no shot. He won the general when everyone said he had no shot. He's got a 4-year term. If he goes out and doesn't run for re-election, he can go out a winner.
Do you believe Ivana Trump?
No. I think Trump's ego is too huge for this. It really is. He is so tied in the idea of winning. He and Charlie Sheen apparently.
She said it's because he's bored and he wants to move on. He's proved his point. There's nothing more he needs to do.
I still just think that is the most powerful position on earth, is to be president of the United States of America.
But what if all indications are he's going to lose?
Well, I mean, well, that was, again, back to John's point, though. The primaries, the general, it looked like he was going to lose. I think he digs in just to prove everybody wrong and then maybe quits a year into his second term and lets Mike Pence or whomever take over. But he wins because he wants to win, and that is the most important thing in the world to him, is winning.
Okay, so Trump 2020.
I'm in.
Nope.
No.
I'll save a spot for you on the Trump train of the dream party.
Oh, my gosh. John Phillips, Ethan Berman, always a pleasure. Thank you. Hey, Senate career was